Hello, and welcome to this training seminar on nonverbal communication. The majority of messages we send and receive are nonverbal. Understanding aspects of nonverbal communication is very important while serving guests at your hotel. Throughout this seminar, you will learn about the importance of kinesics, different meanings conveyed by facial expressions, and how affect displays are governed in Japanese culture.
Here are some definitions that will be useful to you throughout the session. Kinesics, or body language, are the primary nonverbal elements that accompany language. Kinesics are visual nonverbal expressions of emotion and therefore are important to pay attention to. Different cultures use different amounts of nonverbal elements to accompany language. For example, high-frequency cultures accompany language with an exaggeration of expression, use of gestures, and an emphasis on vocalics, while low-frequency cultures are more reserved in their expressions and their movements. Affect displays are the type of kinesics associated with facial expression. While affect displays are generally similar across cultures, interpretations of facial expressions can vary. Pause the video for the following image and discuss what the pictured faces could be expressing. These are the correct answers. Perhaps you had a different interpretation of the facial expressions. It's important to note that everybody sees facial expressions a little bit differently.
The appropriateness of when to use these affect displays differs across cultures. As an employee at the American Hotel and Lodging Association, you will serve customers from a variety of different backgrounds. Here in Metro Detroit, our hotels serve a large population of Japanese businessmen and women. This section of the training seminar will focus on the ways that Japanese culture governs the use of facial expressions.
In Japan, expression of negative emotion is considered rude. Japanese will often mask negative emotions to avoid conflict. This is called saving face. Outwardly loud expressions of positive emotions, such as laughter and excitement, are also considered rude.
Understanding the way that Japanese people govern their affect displays can help you when communicating with Japanese guests. The following clips are acted out for your education. Make note of the positive and negative aspects of the interactions.
Hi there! Welcome to our hotel. Have you checked in yet?
Let's take a moment to talk about this scene.
Hello, welcome to our hotel. Have you checked in yet?
Notice how the receptionist lowered the volume of her voice, didn't use hand gestures, and avoided an exaggerated facial expression to make the guest feel more comfortable.
Hello, sir. Can I get you anything?
No, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm fine.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. Clearly, this guest is content, so I'm not going to ask them if they need anything. Hello, sir. Can I get you anything?
No, thank you.
All right.
In this scenario, the customer might not outwardly reflect a facial display of happiness. The hotel employee should recognize that outward displays of emotion are less common in Japanese culture. The guest might not need anything, but it is still okay to ask.
Let's recap real quick. Japanese guests may seem content, but it is still perfectly fine to check in. Inversely, a Japanese guest who seems perfectly content may need something. It is always okay to politely ask. Remember, facial expressions, for the most part, do not vary across cultures. That being said, in American culture, we tend to be more visible about displaying emotions, whereas in Japan, this is not the norm. Keeping in mind a customer's cultural background can help you to make them more comfortable. So, with Japanese guests, remember not to exaggerate your facial expressions or movements. We hope that you have gained some knowledge on facial expression in Japanese culture, and that you are ready to apply what you've learned while working with guests at your hotel.